Hey YouTube, I'm here with Reverend Becky David Hensley. She is the Associate Director for the Center of Leadership Development in the North Texas Conference of the United Methodist Church. She is the author of a new blog titled And So I Write. Today we're going to talk with Reverend David Hensley about her motivations for what she's doing, a little bit about who she is, what she's doing, why she's doing it, and then one thing that she would like for you to do in response to watching this video. So sit back and enjoy. So, Becky.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I live in Dallas, Texas, and I have been in ministry for a number of years. I started out doing youth ministry when I was pretty much still a youth myself, my freshman year of college. And I don't know why churches hired me then, but they did. Learned a lot of things along the way and was loved by a lot of people in the church. That eventually, through some twists and turns and more education and ministry and other venues in my life, led me down a path to ordained ministry. And so I was ordained here in the North Texas Conference in 2013, served in a couple of different churches in discipleship, teaching capacities. So I worked with youth, worked with children, worked with adult populations in churches, and enjoyed, kind of seeing that side of things. And then ended up coming into this role here at the Center for Leadership Development, so working with all of our different United Methodist churches in this area.
Okay.
So that's what I do. I don't know if that's why I am who I am, but that is what I do.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the motivation for getting out of bed in the morning? Like, what is it that drives you as a person?
Yeah, so I think, some days I'm just not very motivated to get out of bed, to be honest. It's not my favorite time of day. But what ultimately drives me, I think, is this deep desire to see our world be a better place than it is, to see individuals living into the full potential of who God created them to be. Mm-hmm. Because I believe deep down that if we are all doing that, then the world does become a better place. Being able to connect with people in a number of different ways of seeing that happen. And it's why this position here made a lot of sense for me. Mm-hmm. This idea of seeing leaders come up through all ages and stages, but making that same connection themselves.
Very cool, very cool. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you're doing now in terms of your website, your blog. What are you doing? What do you hope to accomplish?
Well, essentially, I've enjoyed writing pretty much all my life, and there's an avenue for that when you're pastoring in a church. That's called sermon writing. And for most pastors, that happens on a weekly basis. For me, that didn't happen weekly because I've always been in associate roles. But I did really enjoy teaching and that sort of prep work that would go in to that. And so I'm in a little bit different environment here. And so just for me personally, I was feeling this kind of bubbling up inside of needing to be back in that habit of writing from a faith perspective and thinking through things. That's just sort of a way that I process is, thinking through things from my faith perspective and putting that down on paper or computer or whatever. So that was part of something that had been sort of stirring in me for a while. And then that was coupled with the most recent mass shootings and realizing that it just hit me in such a deeper way, that this really is our new reality that we're living in this culture, that our world just really is this crazy right now. And I felt disgusted and really had this like visceral sickness reaction that I felt happening in my body, and just feeling like a sense of helplessness almost, what can I do? I don't know what I can do. I'm sitting here on my couch being angry and disgusted. So, all right. So that is where the title of the blog came from, because I was like, it was late. I was tired. I was, having all these feelings and things. And so I just did it. I've been thinking about it for a long time. I was like, I'm just going to do this. And then maybe I can sleep better tonight.
Yeah, I think that many people share your sentiment. When we see the news, we read the links or even the comments on our Facebook news feed or Twitter. We're just looking at the world around us is kind of a disgusting thing sometimes these days. But at the same time, we as people of faith, we as Methodists, we're people of hope, and so we want to do something. And so I'm sure that many of you watching this video will share her sentiments in motivation for what she's doing. And she's writing. She's actually a great writer. If you haven't had a chance to already, I'll post a link right here. You can click that and get straight to her blog. So not Reverend. That's your Twitter. The Rev Becky is her name on Twitter.
The Rev Beck.
Sorry, the
It's
Rev
kind
Beck.
of like a rap star name too.
Oh, it's a rap star name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For my next career.
Well, who knows? Lecrae may need a sidekick these days. But the link is right there, so I don't really even need to say it's RebeccaDavidHensley.com. What is one thing that you hope to accomplish by writing?
I think that we do live in a world where we wake up in the morning and often the first thing we're doing is checking the Twitter feeds and Facebook and whatever your preferred brand of social media is, and we might say that we're checking the news at first, but we're inevitably caught up, I think, in things that just catch our interest.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, often that is the kinds of things that are people who are speaking into this craziness that goes on in the world with a voice of faith and a voice of reason. And so, I know there's a million other people doing that, and it's not that I'm somehow going to be better than all of those people, but to sort of just join the ranks of those. And I really thought about the fact that I do have a voice. I mean, we all have
Absolutely.
that, and so why not use it in a way that that can bring that hope that you're talking about, that can help to quell the fear a little bit that seems to be so pervasive in our society, that can remind people that we are called to do better and to be greater as a community than this, because I really do believe, and I think I said this in one. I've only written 2 blogs so far, but in one of them, that I really believe that the one voice that is courageous enough to stand out there and hold the candle, then that calls the next voice to be courageous, and the next voice, and before you know it, the voices of hope and of courage and of peace and justice and all of those things become louder than the voices of fear and anger and hate and all of those things that I think are what are driving a lot of people crazy.
And that in many ways ties in with the purpose of this channel. But the purpose of interviewing is the same as the purpose of the channel, and the purpose of your blog there is I'm wanting to promote these voices of hope, Wesleyan message of the gospel. If you want to know what Wesleyan message of the gospel is, I'll make another video about that, and then I'll link to it. But we have something unique to offer the world in terms of a faith perspective, and it's important that we get out there and we share that God is still at work in the world, and that there is hope. And your last post played off of that New York Daily Post title, that God isn't fixing this, and in many ways we understand the sentiment, but God is still at work, and how is God at work? And so I just want to encourage you, and I hope anybody watching this will offer her encouragement as well, to continue being that voice, and maybe it'll inspire you to speak up in some way about what it is that you see that you can help the world with. It's sure, maybe we don't all have millions of Twitter followers in this great sphere of influence, but everybody can say something. Everybody can do something, I just want to encourage these folks and you to continue doing something with your passion. In terms of doing something, if you could have the people watching this video do one thing in response to hearing your thoughts today, what would that one thing be?
Read my blog. No, I think it would be to find the thing that you're passionate about. Find the thing that breaks your heart in the world. When you look out at the world, what is it that's really breaking your heart? And acknowledge that passion within yourself, and then do something. I feel like, sometimes we feel overwhelmed because the problems are so big. We know we can't solve the whole problem on our own. But maybe the something that you do is you just start having conversations with close friends and family members. And maybe you look out in your community and you say, the thing that breaks my heart is children not having food to eat, Well, so there's probably organizations in your community that are addressing that. So connect with them, find out what they're doing, volunteer. Get together with, whether it's if you're involved in a church, a group from your church to get involved, or maybe it's just a group of your friends you hang out with on the weekends. But I truly believe that what breaks our hearts is also breaking God's heart, and that there's something planted within our hearts that it's breaking our heart because we also have something unique within us to give to that and to be a part of the healing of that. So follow that intuition and see where it leads. And that's how I really think that we start becoming all that God has created us to be.
Fantastic. So, just to sum that up, find the one thing that breaks your heart and do something about it. If you've enjoyed this video, click the thumbs up or share it. We'd appreciate that. I'd also love it if you'd go check out her blog. If you haven't already clicked that link and you're no longer watching this video because you clicked the link, that's fine. It's all about promoting Wesleyan voices and getting the message of the gospel and the message of hope out there, that we can do something on behalf of God as the people of God. So, have a great day.
Thanks.